I knew you'd plug me into the match, Schofield, because you know I'm sniffing around amps like that.
We are live, I think.
Oh.
Picture looks a bit jerky, as they say, but I think that's okay. Robots. Ladies and gentlemen. Or ladies and lots of gentlemen.
Oh, I should, yeah. Actually, I think we're frozen.
Please close your legs.
Now
Now, I have to do a bit of a mic swap today, but I have Neil Boland, who's been in here before under a different name.
A moniker.
A moniker.
Monica?
Not Monica.
Not
a Monic.
His name is Monica.
With a K.
Yep. Yes.
He's Monica on a Saturday night.
King Street.
Lovely King Street. And Jason Liacos. And these two fellows are from Pickpocket. Hello.
Morning, guys.
Yo.
Good morning. I mean, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anthony.
Very musician-like.
Yes.
Definitely giggers. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
No worries.
What's happening with Pickpocket?
We're back into kind of... well, look, first of all, I should say, Pickpocket is Craig Strain's band. So he's the band leader and it's his baby. So I should acknowledge the fact that we're here as ambassadors of Pickpocket.
And he writes all the tunes.
And he writes all the tunes.
Yes, with some help from Neil.
So if anyone has actually encountered Craig out in the Melbourne scene, out in the gigging scene, which he's involved with a lot, we're his guys.
Cohorts.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I see Mr. Craig Strain around on Facebook a little bit. Craig, hello.
He's probably
Welcome
lurking
to
right
come
now.
in.
Yep. He's probably forgotten this is
Hi,
on,
Craig.
actually. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's replayed everywhere.
Probably doing important things
We've
somewhere.
yeah. Cool. Now, guys, when's your next gig?
Next Thursday.
Is that at the
Paris Cat?
The Paris Cat.
Yep.
A very fancy venue.
It is. It's pretty, it's not too fancy. It's not up its own backside. It's it's a lot of fun. And
are you doing? So Craig writes most of. Are you doing some covers as well?
We do a handful.
Yes.
But it's mostly original. About 90% of the set, as well, is from the Sojourn debut album.
Sojourn?
Sojourn. Did I say that? I said that a bit.
I never
French,
say it
didn't I?
right. Yeah, Sojourn.
It's Sojourn.
Sojourn.
It's Sojourn.
Or if, when Craig says it, it's Sojourn.
Sojourn.
Yeah.
Does he have an accent?
He's Scottish.
Aye.
Neil does the best Scottish and Irish accents.
Yeah, it's not
ever.
for today.
Yeah.
Or could they? There we go. Thank you. Cool, guys. Well, now, thank you for coming in. I have a lot of people who ask me about modes.
Modes.
Modes. No
Why?
more history.
Why?
Frank Gambale, we need him
Oh,
here in
I've been there.
spandex.
I've been there.
Have you ever seen his spandex?
I love that video.
With the girls
So
dancing
good.
in the background or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's
Modes,
got his t-shirt tucked into his leather pants.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not even sure they're leather. It might be vinyl or something. So
I wouldn't
Fake
want
pleather,
to smell to find out.
that
That's
would be
for
so hot. So I have to do microphone swaps here today
Okay.
to get anything going. This is the beauty of my technology. But I wanted to have a look at a few modes. So when I say modes, can you and then you, Jason, explain what that means to you? So, because I've got my own sort of idea, but if I was playing an A minor, just a straight A minor,
Yep.
what are you going to do modally if that was the task?
Wow.
Ooh. Ooh.
And
Well,
that's like
Look,
simple modes.
there are a few to choose from.
Yes.
I would say depending on which direction the chords are going in from that A minor, if it's not going anywhere, you can mix and match modes for different sounds. Very subtle differences, really. So you have a thing called the Dorian mode, which is quite common.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, it's for folks at home. They just have to take this on face value. We're only going to talk about one for this chord, I reckon, because otherwise there's a whole lot of explaining how modes come about.
Yep.
I mean, I can quickly tell people that, which is basically like your major scale is the master of all Western music, pop music, everything, right? And if you play your major scale from the first note to the last note, you're playing a major scale. But then if you play a major scale from the second note to the ninth note, you're getting a mode of that scale. So it's got a different sound. So you've got G major, for example. Right? And then, sounds so
beautiful.
It's the best scale in the world.
It's
And
Taylor Swift's favorite.
all the modes just fall by the wayside. And then start on the second note and play the same scale and go up further. A Dorian.
Okay.
and then it goes up and up and up from there. To go to the next note, play that one. To go to the next note, play that one.
Okay.
And it's major, Dorian. I can't remember these. I never remember Phrygian.
Lydian.
There's other ways of figuring out how to play modes as well. But
I tend to think of it as a chord position in a key. Is that right or wrong?
Yep. Yeah, they've got their corresponding chords because there's a mode that comes off every note of the major scale. Right, so that's how harmony's built. It's just stacked up notes from the chord.
Yep.
So if you're playing in the key of A minor, I'd probably actually be tempted to use a Dorian mode, which is basically G major scale, or the way we look at it, it's a minor scale with a natural sixth instead of that flattened one. Instead of the one that we're used to hearing in heavy metal and all that kind of stuff, it's a bit more bright.
Okay. For people, so if we're looking at A Dorian, for people out there who are used to playing a minor pentatonic, just that classic shape that everybody learns, can you show me, or Jason, or both,
Jace, yeah,
what are
do it
you
at the same time.
adding in? So if you play that A minor pentatonic
So that's
shape,
your box pattern, your standard.
standard box pattern, yep.
If we're going to play Dorian, we just add in that guy, the second.
B.
Second note,
Yep.
Yeah,
Then we're hitting that Dorian note again.
yeah,
Then we're playing this guy, which is still in that minor pentatonic.
yeah.
And then the fifth.
Yeah.
And then we're adding that note, which is a 6. So basically,
sharp.
yep. And then we're back to we're back to this flat 7.
Yep.
So you're kind of adding that note,
And the F sharp.
that note, and that note. Oh, sorry, not that note. What am I saying? Sorry, that note and that note. Yeah.
Right. So a B and an F sharp added to a normal A minor pentatonic.
Yeah, so I guess if anyone's out there who's got their blues box going on, which is millions of people, right? They've just got their pentatonic box and they want to know how to play Dorian mode, to learn that scale without going into the whole concept of modes and just to apply it over a minor chord, is just take the pentatonic and just add those 2 extra notes and you're playing a Dorian mode or a Dorian scale. Yeah.
That conjures up, this is my lead in,
Yeah.
a little bit of Santana Man.
Yes.
Is that Santana Man? Did you ever
Yes.
see that in the old Cheech and Chong movie?
I cannot remember that. and it's probably a reason why I don't remember watching that movie, because you had to.
You have to be in an altered state.
Yes,
Or
yeah.
Cheech and Chong. Comments, Travis Winters.
Trav, he's going to heckle me.
He says, woohoo. He says, put hands in the air. Puts hands in the
Neil?
Ah. Okay. Travis, he's a heckler.
He's
I feel
actually.
like he's right here throwing
Trav,
things.
thanks for warning me that you were going to heckle me. So I've written a whole bunch of answers out ready to go for you. So,
Now I'm going to do a quick mic swap, and I think what we might try and do is solve the Carlos Santana secret sound, as Frank Zappa once did. Now, give me 1 second. Do you guys know O Ye Come Over?
I don't know.
It's like A minor to D9.
D9.
I think.
I don't know I don't know about Jason. I'm going to come clean. I know very little about Santana, but I do know people harp on about the Dorian mode. So I know where you're going.
You need to watch Carlos Santana and band at Woodstock.
Yeah.
There's a famous story about that where they gave him LSD or something, and it's the first and last time he ever had it. And he said, I went on stage, man, and the guitar I had was a snake, and I had to tame the snake.
No.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, very good.
Good man. So that was a good Mexican accent too.
That's not too bad.
Very
inappropriate.
I don't know. Is he Mexican?
I thought he was
He's
Mexican, Puerto Rican.
I
South
thought
American?
Brazilian, but
I
no.
don't know.
I don't know.
So
Good question.
You're asking us.
We should Google that.
Yeah.
If
So
only there was a way we found out.
why don't we just do like a 1 to 4 kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like and I'll get Jason on it first.
Shall I accompany you?
I'll accompany you.
Sure. So what am I playing? I'm playing A Dorian.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing we've got to say first is that he's a blues player with extra stuff in it. Really, at the end of the day, because maybe because of his exposure to Latin music and stuff like that would have actually influenced his choice of using that 6th as well, because a lot of minor sixths in that style of music, and the scale matches it, right? So, really, it's, you know, like, I don't know what Jason's going to do, but to me, he plays a lot of blues stuff and adds that flavour. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. He doesn't really play it like a nerdy jazz guy like us.
Well, so I'll tell you what. Why don't I have to yell because I don't have a mic? But why don't we stick to Dorian, and then the next round through, play whatever you want, and then tell me what you're doing.
Okay.
You can explain it to people.
All right. Do you want to go out that?
So,
I'll accompany you.
So we'll stick to A Dorian?
Yeah.
The whole time. All right. Cool. So whatever I want. The space perhaps?
So, Dorian first. Yeah, well, I've never, I don't think I've ever had to think about that.
I mean, I also thought we were playing over the minor four, so I didn't play any dominant stuff, which is stupid.
That's all right. Doesn't
So-
matter. Well, you go to a different flavour, you know.
Yeah.
It's all right, mate.
Jazz, playing outside.
Jazz and music.
Jazz.
Yeah.
A quick, seamless mic change that no one even saw.
Oh,
That was amazing.
where did he go? Was
I
that from the
didn't-
toilet or something?
Didn't even notice.
I'm so professional. If I need to go to the toilet, I just go. Thank you.
Even on stage. Yeah.
Doesn't worry me. People will talk about it later. So, Jason, tell me what you were doing, because there were a few moments, as soon as you started playing a bit outside, I kind of felt like I was losing my rhythm a bit, and that's just because my brain is not capable of keeping up with that. But how did you went outside there and then you came back in and it sounded pretty killer. So what were you doing?
Well, basically I went from playing Dorian into just some basic pentatonic blues stuff. Yeah, just some bendy, bluesy, kind of A minor.
You were telling me earlier, over an A minor chord, you've got these little tricks where you take that classic shape, pentatonic, and you put it in a few different spots, like a tone up.
I learnt this from Jason last week.
And a fifth up.
This is cool.
I didn't actually do this today, but I should have. Yeah, basically if you're playing...
Do you want to do it while I'm playing?
Maybe. So maybe play A minor. So I can play A minor straight over that A minor chord, or I can do a tone up and play B minor 7.
Yep.
And essentially it's giving you some more extensions over that A minor 7, so you can hear more. So if I play the straight pentatonic, you're getting that kind of sound, and then I can go.
B minor, is that B minor pentatonic, upper whole tone?
Upper whole step. So you can play that, or you can play the minor upper fifth. So you can play over A, you can play E minor, and that gives you more a more modern. It's getting a bit into jazzy territory, but you can.
Can you play the blues variations of those three scales?
The blues.
A minor, A blues,
so
E blues, and E blues.
You probably wouldn't chuck the blues, the flat 5 in there for when you do those other. When you do the B minor and when you do the E minor, you just do pentatonic. You wouldn't chuck in the flat 5s.
Okay.
On the A you would, because you want that kind of tone. But when you go up to the B, you want to stick to.
How good does that sound?
Yeah.
And the cool thing is you'd use the same licks that you'd use in A minor and just move them up a tone. So if I'm going real E basic sort of stuff, I can go. Sorry about that. So I kind of went from the A minor to the B minor, and then I also went down to, I did F sharp minor pentatonic there. Don't ask me why, but I should have done E minor. So the E minor sounds really good too over that A minor. So if I go,
sounds really R&B that one, doesn't it?
yeah, it's
Because you're sliding up to the ninth and back down again instead of that flat third, so it kind of sounds a bit more George Benson.
Gives you a bit more, gives you upper extensions. So it sounds a bit jazzier and a bit more interesting if you want to.
The only way I can understand how that works is that you're looking at A minor as the 2 chord
Of G. Yeah.
And then you're taking the other minors within that key and using that.
Imposing them.
Yeah. Using that. So folks, you take the classic pentatonic shape that everyone knows. So if it's over an A minor, you can go upper tone, playing B. You can go upper fifth, which would be E.
Or if you know the other classic, you can play it. It's nice if you play it down. Yeah, if you play it closer to. Because then when you swap back to the standard one, it sounds closer. Yeah. Or you can play a motif here. To keep the same idea through each of those 3 shapes. Yeah.
Put a D minor pentatonic over that. Because A sits in C and F.
I don't know.
D minor pentatonic, yes, but you'll end up with you'll lose your Dorian natural 6. You'll get that. You'll lose your Dorian-ness, so you're back in the natural minor area.
And we are talking Dorian.
Which is completely fine, because who cares if you don't want to play Dorian? Just...
Yeah.
I mean, you can play all of them.
Play all the tones. Little Charlie Parker-esque there.
Yeah.
Now, Neil, what were you playing? Were you doing half whole diminished again?
I might have done it. I might have done it at some point.
Neil patented that
Yes.
scale.
Yeah,
so no one else can use it.
Robin Ford never really mastered it. Yeah, I think it's similar stuff. Jason and I have got different language. We've got different influences, but at the same time, we've got very similar ones because we grew up in the same era.
Yeah.
So really, I'm a blues influenced player.
Yeah.
Originally from the shred school.
Yes.
So I've been through the same stuff Jason's been through with imposing tones and all that kind of stuff. But I started with my but I will actually, in amongst that minor pentatonic stuff, I will reference that F sharp from the Dorian,
right?
Because the two most critical notes in an A minor 7, which is a G and C,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Make it an A minor 7. They're both in the pentatonic scale,
Okay.
and then you go down to the F sharp. It's also in the 4 chord. It's in the D7.
And
Right.
F sharp really gives it that.
That outlines a chord, but
belongs to.
yeah, but
G.
that could even be the 1 chord. A minor 6 kind of sound. So this note's completely safe in this case.
Okay.
And I might actually include a major 7 in there too,
Yeah.
which takes it a bit beyond Dorian. It takes you into melodic minor territory. But
Right.
don't worry about the names. I'm just talking about the notes you can add to the existing knowledge that you know.
Okay.
So it basically just embellishes your toolkit,
So show me, take that basic scale in A and show people what you're adding in.
Yep, so I'd have a, going from here down, like everyone else in the world, right? But I've also got the 6.
So that was the F sharp.
The F sharp,
Yeah.
but I've also got,
Oh wow, okay, G sharp. And just explain to me why you put that G sharp in there.
because it sounds really good if you put it in the right place.
Does sound cool.
Yeah, and it's if you put it in the right place, it's also really good if the song goes to E7, the 5 chord before it goes back to the 1.
Yeah.
And what it also does too,
Yeah.
the human ear gets pulled up
Yeah.
from that note.
That's a
as
very
well.
jazzy thing to do. That slide up into the scale.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you hear that
But
a lot.
Right, so that's got a bit more colour in it. But what I'll also do too, very carefully and randomly, is play a minor pentatonic just for a moment,
Right.
a fret down, a semitone down
Right.
as well. Which
okay.
guys like James Muller
James,
and
yes.
all the
A
good,
friend of the Colonel.
yes, really, and all the good jazz guys.
He's pretty good.
Right?
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
All the
He's doing
good
okay.
jazz guys know how to do what they call side slipping, which
Yeah.
is more of a fusion concept where you might just momentarily play the scale that you're meant to be playing up a fret or down a fret,
Right.
just to fool the ear and
Wow.
give it something to think about just for a moment and pull it back in again. So it
He's,
might be something like if you give me another A minor chord.
So you just, I saw Oz Noy doing a bit of this recently. So you're dropping, and Jeff Richmond doing something. So same shape. A little bit different there, but
Yeah.
same shape. Drop down a semitone.
Yep.
Or 1 fret.
Yep.
And then up a semitone.
Yeah, and
then back.
and the trick to making it work is really practicing your rhythm.
Right.
Because if you're not confident with your rhythm, you'll end up getting stuck in that outside area and not being able to rescue yourself.
Right.
Come back in again.
Yes.
So it's the guys with really good rhythm who can really do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
But, you check out James Muller and see if you can slow down one of those licks and see what's going on.
If you can slow it down.
He's
Yeah.
been in here a few times. The first time he
Yeah.
came in, I had no idea who it was, and he was playing he said, I want a 3-3-5. That's a bad James Muller. I would like a 3-3-5, please.
Yeah.
And here you are, sir. And he sat down and he started playing. I thought, yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah, you guys
Just
are
got
right.
better and better. I thought, oh no. And I ran out and I said, please don't tell me you just picked it up a couple of months ago. This is unbelievable. I'm James Muller. Well,
Yeah.
thank God.
Yep.
You know. Now let me just check the stream and see if we have any comments. Michael Ray says a situation where too many guitars are barely enough.
We'll take that as a compliment.
Travis Winters, so good. Thank you, Travis. Noah Dalton has joined Infinite Tower of Power. He's a new convert to the Tower of Power. I suggested Back to Oakland for him. I love that record.
I love Back on the Streets as well.
Back on the Streets.
And just any of it, really.
Are you guys both in that band, or is it just you?
Nah, just me. Because the Tower of Power situation is a one guitar player proposition. Like all their music's usually. Although I think maybe in the late 70s, early 80s, they might have overdubbed a lot of guitars on their studio albums.
Yeah.
But I think maybe whoever's in the band at the time might have worked out a way of making that happen live with a couple of compromised parts as well. So I don't know, maybe they did have two players at one. I don't think they ever did on stage, no.
Right. Incredible band.
They are, and it's a sport to play their music.
When did they, about 76 or something, and they got the really high voice singer, high pitched singer?
Oh, yeah. What's his
I don't know if
name?
you've heard those records.
I have. I forget his name. I'm actually a really terrible name dropper with that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know who the players are because their roster of people was just like a constant revolving door of awesome.
I know, crazy boys. Now, okay, another modal question for you. Mm-hmm. This is from myself. So we're in the Burke Street Mall, and you've got your panpipes.
Oh my God!
And you've got 6 or 7 guitars.
Hello, Shannon. Hello, Shannon Bourne. By the way, we were having a laugh about the panpipers of Preston Markets and Burke Street Mall
Shannon
just a couple of days ago.
Here before,
dude can play.
He is. We would like you to come in at some point, Shannon.
Shannon.
Man,
if we are, you
should.
Man.
With Shannon when he was here, I said it. Oh, is this your daughter, Shannon? That's my girlfriend, you asshole. Hello.
Oh. If we come up more,
the sort of jokes we do here all day.
We have more stories like that. That'd be awesome.
But good on you. Good on you, I say. Well done, sir.
Yeah. So Burke Street Mall and the
Burke Street
panpipers.
Mall, they seem to take a major chord and just move it up and down a semitone. They'll take an E, and they'll go to F, and they'll go back to E, and over and over again. They'll play a C major scale over it. What is going on there?
What's C major in the key of E? I got
no
idea.
That'd be Phrygian.
It's Phrygian.
Phrygian. That's probably exactly what they're doing. Phrygian mode, or that's a funny one because that's a sort of chord move that happens in. For the people at home, we're not just going to describe it. I'll play it. Right, you've heard that before. I might tune up as well. Where they just play this.
Maybe this is a question for you.
I've dropped the mic though.
What's the name of Jack Black's character, the wrestler? Hombre?
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. Yeah. That's what I feel like when I hear that kind of thing.
That was amazing.
I think in all seriousness, like people who actually take that style of music seriously, like the guys in the mall do. They know what they're doing with that. But I think that chordal move for a modern electric guitar player is a bit of a party trick that we kind of do. Like if you come from a metal background, you really love the sound of it.
I don't use it very much. Like I don't use Phrygian much out of all the modes.
Metal guys use Phrygian dominant. Sorry, I have to talk a bit loud. Change mics, but. Right. And I don't.
I use that a bit, but not like I'll use it over a 5 chord.
So I think with this, like I had to think about this today because I never think about this, so I thought I'd think about it. And so say you get your E chord. Because I come from an R&B background, I'm thinking. So there's a few ways to get around it. I mean, sometimes when I see a weird chord progression like this, like I don't really stress about the whole picture. If I really want to study just like one change that's really bothering me. Like anything, you try and figure out what the common notes are. You know, what don't you have to not play? Like, what are you already playing that will fit the next chord? you know, that kind of thing. And it somehow just turns out to be like a Phrygian type thing anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I might not be so country as I was just then. That I do is easy stuff like E major scale,
Yep.
and then when it goes up, E minor pentatonic seems to fit it. Right. But that's, I mean, there's probably wrong notes in there, but they're so momentary the ear doesn't really get too bothered by it. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe you play. What's that other scale? I forget what it was now. It's got a major third and a flat 9.
Phrygian major.
Yeah. Phrygian major, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Which is a mode of the harmonic minor scale.
Yeah.
All right, so we can just nerd out a little bit more.
Yes.
I'd be using a lot of metal guys, and I'm guessing the South American guys would come to this from an A. What's the minor? What did you say it was? Minor.
A harmonic minor.
Harmonic minor
Right.
point of view. So the whole thing's harmonic minor. So, but up in Ingve position,
Oh yes.
right? It'd be like if you're looking at it as the root note as a reference point, you've got both of them here. You got the E and the F.
Yeah.
The major third of the E chord. And they work over both if you do both of them.
That's cool. That's very 60s. It's very
It is.
psychedelic.
It's got that kind
It's
of.
like White Rabbit. And I was talking to Jason before about the
White Rabbit?
Jefferson airplane. White Rabbit.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
No.
I have to change microphones to do it.
Teach us.
That's all right.
Teach us things like
Show
that.
us.
So it's an
Show us your
F
secrets.
sharp to a G. An F sharp to
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
huge song in the late 60s.
Okay.
Psychedelic, NAM era.
Oh right. Okay. So we're
At
talking
least,
about.
yeah. I remember it.
It's got
when
weight.
I was in the NAM.
Yeah. As in California once a year.
As in Nambour,
Guitar show.
Queensland.
Yeah,
I was
right.
just on my way to the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
But and he's using Phrygian or harmonic minor scale there.
Yep.
So the guitar player's playing pretty freely over it.
Yeah.
Next question, final one.
Lydian.
It's getting hot in here. Lydian. I get asked a lot about Lydian. It's a Satriani type sound.
Yep.
When I say Lydian, Jason, what are you thinking when I say Lydian?
Major scale with the sharp 4. So after, depends how you want to look at it. Like you can play, if you're playing over like a C Lydian chord,
Yeah.
you could play a C major scale and think of just sharpening. Instead of playing that, just go. Or you could think of it as G major because C is the fourth mode of. C Lydian is the fourth mode of G major.
Yep.
So if you wanted to, if you played that chord, you could just go.
Lovely.
Or just playing G major or
Yeah.
even G major pentatonic.
I could just play a regular C chord for that too. I don't
Yeah.
need the sharp 11, right?
If you just want to add a bit of colour, like
So Neil is playing just a simple C.
Country and Western Cowboy C.
Cowboy C. And Jason is playing a G major scale.
What do
over
you
the top.
What do you hear there? I hear
Satch?
I hear Steve Vai.
Yeah.
You know?
Very much. Zappa.
Because Satriani would play like really long linear kind of stuff up and down, but Steve Vai would be a little bit more jump the intervals a bit more, you know.
Or you can play C and then just hit the F sharp when you want to hit it, you know.
He does that in the.
What about that song, man?
C Lydian or
C Lydian, yeah.
my brain just went back to Satch.
Oh man. I'm out.
I just hitting the sharp 4 every time to try and.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just thinking C major and just. I know I just sort of think about where near the arpeggio where the sharp 4s are, because then I can go up a C major. Yeah, so I just think of like a C major triad. Instead of thinking of a whole new scale, I'll sometimes just go play the triad. So C major triad, and the semitone down from the 5 is. Yeah, if you want to think of it really simply, or you could just think G major, or because I don't use the C Lydian a lot. Right. I like to, if I'm going to chuck it in, you want to hear that because there's only one note different to a major scale. I want to hear that F sharp, so I kind of plot out where, if we're thinking C, just make sure I know where my F sharps are. Yeah, like so in each position I can kind of go. Yeah, and then you can sort of just play your C stuff, because we all know C major really well.
Yeah.
Just play your C major stuff, and when you want to hear that sharp 4, like when Neil just played the C, like it sounds great over just C major to me.
The funny thing about it, from a more of a jazz point of view too, is the Lydian mode will almost be used. I don't want to say exclusively, but probably more commonly over anything than anything else. And Jason and I are graduates of the Jim Kelly School of getting our ass kicked. And,
yes.
And
aptly put.
Yeah, and we love him for it. And it's basically because he was coming from more of a jazz angle, and we were there to study, and we were there to learn the nerdy stuff, and to learn how to play chords and improvise a little bit and all that kind of stuff too. He was pretty much hammering home the Lydian all the time, and he had a really good reason for it too. Is that regular major scale, you hear in pop music where it will go. People always do that thing where they suspend the third.
So put a 2 or a 4.
Yeah, in this case the 4.
Yeah.
That's what a major scale momentarily does when you play it.
Right. That's for those of you that would be. It's normally referred to as sus.
Sus, the sus note. Chords. So if someone's just playing dumb
sus 2 or sus 4.
Dumb C chords. It momentarily clashes with a third. So right, but the sharp 4 doesn't.
Sounds great.
It's further away from the third than the regular 4th is, so you don't get that semitone clash. It's a more open sound as well. So that's the way Jim was hammering it home with us.
Are you guys, when Pickpocket is playing, are you guys using this sort of stuff, or
on occasions?
Okay.
Most of the time, we're just trying to get through it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
because Craig's a really
band.
Craig is an imaginative chord writer, and there's some really beautiful things going on there. And basically, what happens is it's probably the same for Jace too. But like a couple of days before the gig, Jace will put the set list out via email to the band, and we'll have our names next to the songs we're soloing on, and that's different every time.
Yeah. And
sometimes I go, oh god, that song's got that thing where the major chords move around. There's about 5 different major chords in like 4 bars.
Yeah.
I better have a look. So I sit down and just figure out what the safe things are to do, and so I'm not stressing about it on the night and playing awful clangers, which I still do. I mean, the clangers still happen, but
that will make a lot of people feel very good.
Clangers are part of life.
I mean that in the nicest way.
Yeah. But that's I mean, another thing too for the application of the Lydian is it's a really good, if you're happy just to play all your major pentatonic, which you should be because it sounds awesome. If the song goes to a major chord that's not within the key, right, the set rule is to play Lydian over that chord. Okay. Right. So an example would be Stevie Wonder's "As." I haven't actually shown Jason this, but it's basically, he's probably played it before because he's done a lot of R&B gigs.
Strangely enough, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay.
All the Stevies I've done, not on that list.
So Stevie Wonder's "As" is just a 1 and 4 song to start with, and basically what it is your but it's not regular B, it's not regular E, it's B major 7.
Right. Yeah.
And E major 7.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or, one of the two, right? So, but then so it goes 1, 4, and then 1, and then down to the flat 7, same chord.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So it goes. So basically, they're both within the key, those two chords, and then it goes down to A major 7, which is not within the chord, within the key. Right?
So are you changing if you're playing a solo over that? Are you changing when it goes to the A?
I might more likely play a Lydian there.
Right.
So
A Lydian.
So the Lydian will get me out of trouble there just for a moment, because it doesn't last long. So
what are you playing over the B and the E?
just my regular.
A B major scale. Right. And then change to the A major 7.
Oh, sorry, I do. Then I'll go to the A.
And then if you change to A major 7, and that's you're playing A Lydian, which is E major scale. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah. So that would be if that come up in a Pickpocket song.
Yes.
Those two chords together, I'd be like, okay, what's the little tiny thing that I can change to make both of them work between the two? So, and an even smaller thing you can do, right? If you're going from a major chord from the 1,
Yes.
and then playing the next one down to flat 7 from the tonic,
Yeah.
right? So it's A major chord, mix a Lydian.
Okay. Alright. Because if you just took a B and an A and an E and 3-part harmony, I'm thinking the key of E. But because B major 7 and the A major 7, you have to think outside, because the B major, if it was in the key of E, the B would be a dominant.
Yeah.
So, is that right? I think that's right.
Yes.
So
I mean,
that's why you're changing.
Yeah, but it's in the key of B.
Right.
But the funny thing is about the way Stevie Wonder writes sometimes is that the conclusion of his whole progression, where he actually finally sings "I'll Be Loving You Always," is it finishes on the G sharp minor, which is like a relative minor of the B.
Yes.
I'll be loving you always, that kind of stuff, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on. So by the time you get to that part, you're emphasising different notes in the same scale, because it's all relative as well. So but that's the only point where I would change. I'll be over the major 7, over the A major 7, the B major 7, then over the A major 7. The only difference in the scale is the 7th, it flattens.
Yep.
So it's B major 7, A major 7. Yeah, so
an A or an A sharp there.
I'm always looking for shortcuts. So, because I can't speak for Jace or anyone else, but a lot of people, including myself, when you start encountering different chords that you're not familiar with,
yes,
you end up panicking a little bit, because you learn how to play scales from the root note up, and not from a I guess more objective point of view. You go, okay, let's not panic here. I'm probably fairly close to what I need.
You're probably semi-tone away from.
But sometimes even in Pickpocket songs, I'm nowhere near. I don't know where I am.
You figure out ways to get a cheat.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, you just go like this with the whammy bar, and you just get out of it.
You just do a dive bomb with the whammy bar.
But you do it way more intelligently than me.
I haven't used it.
Any questions? Travis Winter's great discussion about as and playing around the chords. Yes.
Thanks.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in.
No worries.
Let's talk quickly about Pickpocket gig and what you're playing through. You've got this beautiful orange, fetchingly wonderful looking on you. So
good.
That's a Don
Goes with the
Grosh.
shoes.
Goes with the shoes and Richmond
And the hair.
socks.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah. Oh, gee.
Did you go to the?
I didn't go any football this week.
So that's Don Grosh. He's an American builder. Handmade gear, offset style guitar. What are you on, Jason?
This is my Charles Cilia, also purchased secondhand from the Guitar Colonel. Lucky find.
So no longer for sale.
Possibly the best guitar I've ever owned. Just lucked
Australian
out.
builder and
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Who's Grosh? Where does that come from?
It's US.
US.
US guy.
Oh,
So,
it says USA on the headstock.
I didn't actually see that. There you go.
Yeah, right,
No, he's a US builder, so he makes great stuff. And you're playing through, if you were listening to Neil there, he's playing through the Matt Schofield Signature 2
Man,
rock.
why?
I spare no expense for these young gentlemen. And into, what sort of cab is that? I can't see.
Is that a Morgan?
It's a Morgan cab.
Something?
And Jason is into the Summertone Overdrive 35 through the 65 amps cab.
I'm taking that home with me.
Sweet.
I reckon. Yeah.
I've sold
mine.
all the gear I needed to just from this.
This
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in.
This is going to have to go on a 5-year lay-by. Is that all right?
Well, it is a touch expensive, that one.
But
it's a beautiful.
It's killer, yeah.
Now, Pickpocket are playing at the Paris Cat.
Paris Cat.
What's the date again?
This Thursday. Hang on. Let me get my calendar because we've actually got 2 gigs coming up.
If you want to see these monsters of guitarness playing,
29th, is it?
So we've got Pickpocket at the Paris Cat on the 29th.
29.
And then we've got March. Next
29 March.
So Good Friday Eve, Thursday
Friday.
night.
Wow.
Thursday night. And then we've got
Thursday night, Paris Cat.
And then we're
Pickpocket.
playing April 10th at the Jazz Lab in Brunswick. So that's our Jazz Lab debut.
Oh, right.
As well. So
I don't know the Jazz Lab.
in Brunswick, apparently it's the same owner as Bennett's Lane, and he runs a club in Brunswick now, and it's really cool.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Guys, I'll write the dates and links and all of the above. You guys are also teaching.
I'm not. No.
Pickpocket CD here as well, called Sojourn.
Yes, this is the album. Craig has just reprinted a second batch of these in lovely cardboard digipack.
Yes.
Which is very nice. This is the last of the jewel case, so I'm hanging on to this.
That's right. I was like, give me that one.
So if you, I don't know if you
guys on Spotify.
Yep, on Spotify, also on Bandcamp, iTunes, all that other streaming stuff. And but to find out when the second batch of this is in, if you follow us on pickpocketfunk.com.
Pickpocketfunk.com.
Or look us up, Pickpocket Funk on Facebook. If you don't put funk on it, you'll get a death metal band from Scandinavia.
Right.
As well, so, which is cool, but
yeah, I love my Scandinavian death metal. Yeah. It seems to be a hub for it, but no, I'm cold. You got to play metal, and it's got to be about death.
Yeah.
And you're both teaching.
I am, but
taking some students. So if you want to grab some lessons from Mr. Jason Liacos and maybe Neil, I don't know, he's pretty.
Or
busy.
the Guitar Colonel over here.
Well,
the Colonel.
Or the Colonel, synonymous with lessons. Just message us, and I will put you in touch with Jason or Neil or myself. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Out of here.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.